So hi, hello everybody, good afternoon. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more people when we start talk. I'm Thea Prokop, I'm the editor-in-chief of Elle magazine in Czech Republic, and I'm very thrilled to meet on the stage here with me the director and screenwriter Nina Knag, and one of the lead actors of the film Don't Call Me Mama, which we have today for meet and greet, Tarek Zayat. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. So let's start like at the beginning. Welcome in Karlovy Vary. How do you like it so far? Is it your first time here? You know, did you had any chance to enjoy it? Not only work, but also some pleasure here?
Well, up until now, it's been presenting the film. So because we came late the day before yesterday, and all day yesterday we had interviews, and we had our world premiere in Grand Hall. That was a great experience. But even though it's work, it's a lot of fun for us to screen the film here, and we felt so welcome, and we love the festival and all the people here. So it's been busy, but really, really great. Yeah.
Yeah, also me, it's my first time in Karlovy Vary. Nevertheless, it's been a very good experience.
Yeah, so welcome, welcome. I saw your movie, unfortunately, not on the big screen in Grand Hall, but in my computer at the beginning, and I loved it so much. For me, it was very emotional. I loved how the poetry connects the two people. And let's maybe introduce it a little bit for the people who maybe didn't see it yet. Maybe they will go to cinema or they were at the grand premiere. So yeah, so let's introduce the movie a little bit. Because for me, Don't Call Me Mama is like a very complex drama, very intimate, very visually stunning. And we start with a quite strong character, Eva. So who is she? When do we meet her at the beginning? What's happening in her life?
Yeah, Eva, she's a high school teacher in a small village in Norway, and she's married to the local mayor. They're left-wing politicians, and there's something that happened in their marriage without over-explaining it, but that's made the bond between them broken in a way. And so we meet Eva struggling with this. She's staying with her husband, but she's struggling emotionally. And then she meets this young man, Amir, who sort of awakens something in her, and they get a connection. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we first meet her husband, Justin. And then we meet the charming little man, or young man, I would say, 18 years old, Amir, in the immigration center. And she starts to help there. And they develop a connection. So, yeah, so who is Amir? Let's introduce him a little bit as well. How is he?
Yeah, Amir is a Syrian refugee, came to Norway. He's always on survival mode. For him, it's like life and death. He want to stay in Norway. I don't want to do any spoilers, but he was actually before that in Denmark as well in the movie. And because of some problems, he came to Norway. So for him, it's really important for him to stay in Norway. Nevertheless, he meets this Norwegian teacher, and they get a good connection. So yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Amir, as we said, is a young refugee. He's a poet. So how was the casting process going on? What did you look for in Amir, the character, and yeah, why Tarek is the best choice for it?
Yeah, it was a long process, and we looked for actors in Norway, but we didn't find anyone who fit the role, or I didn't feel that it was him. And then I suddenly remembered, because we started looking in Denmark and Sweden, and then I remembered that I saw Tarek in a film called Skjorta, a Danish film. And I remember that it was this really talented young actor in that one. And then I Googled him, and then I found out, oh, now he's, a bit older, and maybe he's interesting to look at. So we contacted him, and then we had Tarek over to Oslo to audition with Pia, who plays she was already casted. And then we had one audition, and I just felt, and especially Pia also felt that, you know, they had the chemistry. She believed in him, I believed in him. We had a Skype meeting. Normally you have a lot of rounds of casting, but it was just something in me that I just like, you know what, I think this is our Amir. So I just gave him the role, and I had never worked with him, and I only seen him in that one movie, and he also told me he hadn't played any like emotional roles like this, so I didn't really know what to expect, but I just have this good feeling. But then I was very positive surprised, because Tarek did a lot of research and a lot of work, and when we were on set he was so into it. And
Yeah, when I was looking on your history, I saw the movie you mentioned. I probably cannot say it properly. And then I saw some like TV series, just like few episodes or something. So how was your like acting like career before? Was this like really like the first proper role, or how did you feel?
Like Nina told you, this was my first emotional role, like where I had to dive in the role and really come out with my emotions. But like you also said, I've been acting in movies before that. This one, I would say in this movie, Don't Call Me Mama, I had like the most difficult preparing and the research, because Amir is a role who requires a lot of research, especially because originally I'm not a refugee. I'm born and raised in Denmark. So for me to live in the role, I had to like do a lot of research. And besides that, I wrote the poems. So I also had to act like a poet. And that was a long process for me as well.
And tell me about it a little bit more. How did you build the character? What was your research? Did you go to some like migration center, or like how did you get the feel? Because he is very, I think for me he was a very significant character, and maybe the strongest in the movie, because Pia, she's great. But then we have Amir, and he is very special. I think the magic of him is he doesn't talk that much, you know. He just like gets you into his like world. You never feel really sorry for him till the end, because he has this really like big strength. It's not like feeling pity for him during the whole movie, which I really like. Sometimes in the movies, you know, the characters, they go through too much torture and everything, and it's a little bit like emotional, I don't know, withdrawal. But this one I like. So how did you where did you research it? How did you find his spirit?
So at the beginning, I watched, by the help of Nina, of course, I watched a lot of documentaries just to see how it is being a refugee. However, I'm born and raised in a ghetto. So in a ghetto, there's a lot of, I was raised with a lot of circumstances with a lot of refugees. So I've got a common knowledge about what it takes to be a refugee and how they are, how they act. So in that way, I had like a common knowledge of it. But of course, then I had to watch some documentaries, go and talk to people who flew from a country in the Middle East to Denmark, see how they was for them. So yeah, that was my research.
Did you read some poems as well?
I read a lot of poems, actually. And during the process, I was like when I had to write the poems. So I went to a park every day for 2 hours in 2 weeks and just sat without my phone, without anything, isolated, and just had to write it. So that's how I did it.
Nina, how did you work with the chemistry with Pia and with Tarek? Was it like, did you had an intimacy coordinator, or you just made it yourselves? Like, how was the relationship like evolving, I would say?
Yeah, actually, yes, we had an intimacy coordinator. I can talk about that, but actually, for me, I had a lot of talks with Tarek, and we read through the whole script and talked about it the character and motivation. So we talked a lot, and then I had the same with Pia. But actually, we didn't have that many rehearsals on the scenes with Pia and Tarek, and that was intentionally because we wanted to sort of keep the excitement between them. Also, that they didn't know each other in real life that well. And I remember Pia said that she didn't want that because it's like something, and I think that's a good thing. So we didn't rehearse too much. We had readings, we went through things, but we decided not to do that with the two of them. But we had an intimacy coordinator, and I would never do this film without an intimacy coordinator, because it's the theme of the film is like power and power imbalance. And if we wouldn't have an intimacy coordinator in this film, I think that would be scary. And also for me, as like a female character, I'm 41 now, like directing a young man and about a mature woman and young man, and it's really, you have to make the actors feel safe because it's already a controversial theme. So one of my really good friends and colleague, Camilla Gleistad, who's also my co-caster, the casting director in this film, she was just trained, one of Norway's first trained intimacy coordinators. So she was with me from the very start when I started this project, and I knew that she was gonna work on it. So it started that she had conversations with Tarek and Pia. You can tell about that after, and then we rehearsed all the scenes and made a choreography. Like, you know, you can touch her there, you can do it like this. Together with the cinematographer, so we decided we filmed handheld the rest of the film, but very freely, but not the intimate scenes. They were much more planned, you know, because the actors know where the camera is, what's showing, you know, and so they feel secure and that they know exactly what happens. And when they don't have to think about that, then they can be free in the acting. So maybe you will want to say something about it also.
Yeah, because the movie is quite sensual, right? It's controversial, but it's also quite sexy. It's like they have a real connection, like, you know, and chemistry. So like, yeah, how was for you like building this like relationship with Pia, but also with Nina and with the coordinator, with the whole team, right?
Fortunately, Pia is a very good and professional actor. So for me to do the choreography with her was a big blessing because she's very good at it and she's good at like making me feel comfortable, as well as Camilla, the intimacy coordinator. She was very good at like making it comfortable for both of us. So it was very professional. Actually, my first time doing some intimacy in a movie, but it went perfect.
You mentioned it, Nina, so I'm going to skip a little bit because you mentioned the power dynamics, which are like reversal of the traditional narrative. It's switched. It's the older woman having the power, which maybe at the beginning she doesn't know she has, but for me, not to spoil too much, but I think she starts to really like use it a little bit, and she starts to put her like love and her pleasure in her first place. So why did you decide that you're gonna switch it like this? Why is it important for you to break these taboos we don't maybe talk about that much?
Yeah, I think that was just the reason why I wanted to make this film. Was like I read about these cases where older or mature women had a relationship with young asylum seekers in Norwegian refugee centers. And when I read about that and heard about that, I was like, wow, you don't hear about these cases a lot, and women who uses their power. So I just knew right away that that's a film I want to make a film about, seen through a female perspective, and a complex female character that is not always easy to like, because we have all these male characters, you know. For example, Sopranos, you know, he kills people, he's a mafia boss, but we love him, you know. But if a female character does something immoral or problematic, it's so often that, oh no, that's too, oh we don't want to. But I think it's really important to also show female characters as complex human beings with good and bad sides. But also for me in this film, it comes with all the characters. Also to portray a refugee with all the sides and not just like pity him, like you say sometimes, you know, or, you know, he has also different sides to him, and Pia has, and now Eva has, and Jostein. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Is it difficult to find a balance between empathy and critique for you? Because it's a topic you see, you were like fascinated by. Maybe you wanted to. Did you wanted to show more empathy or critique?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and I think that's exactly what I want with this film. Is to. It's like a fragile line between empathy and critique, and you know, passion and destruction, and all these complex feelings. That's what this film is about. So that when you think you know someone or you feel with them, then it changes, you know, and that's how it is to be a human being. So it was like I didn't want to say one thing. I wanted just to switch and with all the characters in the film. So it is very difficult, and I think it was the most difficult part of writing the script, shooting the film, but also in the editing. You know, how is this balance? And I'm hoping that, you know, maybe we managed to do it, but it depends on how the viewer looks at it, I think.
The film touches, I think, like a lot of topics. Some of them are like controversial, like forbidden love, or like this morals and their ambiguity, you know, like you never know, power imbalance, or also like the hypocrisy of good intention, I would say. But did you had like a discussion in the whole team, and did everybody had the same opinion, or did you had any like, you know, somebody was like, maybe she did cross the line, but not too much, and somebody was like, yeah, she totally is a predator, or did you had any discussion like that between like, or among all the team?
Maybe not among all the team, but do you mean like the actors or the?
But yeah, also like people you work on the script with you, and like.
Yeah. We talked a lot about it in the script development, but so it was, yeah. But I think maybe we were a bit afraid that, you know, who are we gonna feel with? You know, for me the most important thing maybe was, and also maybe someone was afraid that, you know, how will we portray Amir, you know? Will we get under his skin? But it's because it's from her perspective, Eva's perspective, the white privilege perspective. And then we don't know everything about Amir. So sometimes, I think some people were a bit afraid that will we just feel with her and portray him like someone who we don't really get to know. That was my, you know, because, but then I think it was so important for me, and also with the casting, to have someone who shows, you know, the human side of Amir. But he's not the protagonist, you know. But the poetry, for example, was a part of that, to getting more under his skin, to get to know him better. But yeah, but I don't know. It's like, I think it's pretty obvious who's the winner or loser in the end, in a way. But yeah, I don't know if I answered your question. But
you mentioned poetry again, and why did you choose this like particular aspect to build a connection between these two characters?
I think the poetry came after long in the development, and it was a part of making Amir more interesting. And also, it was very important for me that it was not just a sexual tension between them, that it was a real connection. And I felt like I knew that Eva was a teacher, a Norwegian teacher, and then we never say this, but in my mind she had a dream of writing when she was younger. And it's like when you connect with another person, sometimes you connect through, you know, art, or I can relate to that. So that's when the poetry came in, and I thought also it was a really nice way of showing Amir's emotions in a way, without being too cliche. That was important for me. So, but I had a big problem. I couldn't write these poems as like a female writer, and my co-writer Katrina, she was like, I can't write it. And so we were looking for someone who can write this, that it feels authentic, and we didn't find anyone, and we didn't know what to do. And then Tarek just said, like, you know what, I can try to write something. And I just laughed, and I was like, but have you ever written anything? And he was like, no. I was like, okay, if you want to try, good luck. And then it was like some weeks, and then he sent me 2 poems. Like he said, I didn't know that he was in the park 2 hours each day. So that's great. And
wow, congratulations.
And then he sent it to me, and I was sitting in the restaurant, and I was like reading it on my phone, and I started crying because I was so touched by it. So I was like, okay, he's a law student and actor, and now he's also a poet. So
another career to start.
Another career.
You can have like diversified portfolio, you know. Amir, Tarek, what was
you can call me Amir if you
what was the biggest challenge for you in the whole process in making this movie?
There was a lot of challenges for me. At first, it was the language barrier because I'm born and raised in Denmark. It's a Norwegian production, so. It's
Wait, did you
similar.
write the poems in Danish or in Norwegian?
It was in Danish and one poem in Arabic, right? Yeah, so both Danish and Arabic. But there was a lot of challenges. At the beginning, it was the language barrier. I know that Norwegian and Danish is quite similar to each other, but there can be some misunderstandings. But I got to learn quickly the Norwegian, so that was not a problem. I overcame it. The second challenge was maybe the emotions I had to show, because it was like I had to be very focused, and sometimes I had to cry, and sometimes I had to be angry and happy. So there was this this ride with emotions all the time. That was also a challenge. Yeah, and besides all that, I had a whole law education while I was filming. So I graduated actually 4 weeks ago. So now I got also my master's degree in law.
Nice. Also, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
So he was actually filming one day, and we were flying him back to Copenhagen to have his exam the other day. So that was kind of...
It was pretty tense.
Crazy.
Like fly back, come back the same day, and straight to the set and stuff like that. Yeah, it was difficult, but happily we overcame it all.
I don't know what he's made of, but I want some of the things that he's taking.
Yeah, a lot of work behind it. Maybe this is a good, we have the transparency to see it's not always like having a movie, having a degree. You really had to work for it quite hard. The film is also like very visually like refined, I would say, very beautiful, emotionally rich. You have the swimming pool has like playing a huge role there. And did you work like specifically with some cinematographer, or did you like develop the images somehow specially for that? Because I think it's not only about the story, but also about it's also poetic, I would say, the visual for me.
Yeah, thanks. I always had like this in all my short films and earlier work. I sort of love having the poetry versus the realism. So that's sort of my style. So I wanted to continue that with this project, even though it's a very realistic film. I have this thing for water. Mm-hmm. And I haven't really thought about it, but someone told me, like, now I had someone who interviewed me, like, I can see the water in all your projects, and I was like, what, is that true? And almost I have the water and pool, and and I was like, I didn't really think about it intentionally, but I think water for me is like a symbol of calmness and peace and quiet and something really nice. So for Eva and Amir, this water is something beautiful in, not where the chaos is. And she also swims to relax, and then they have this thing in the pool. So that was something I knew. And also I have seen this picture of a woman and a refugee in this swimming class that stuck with me, that she was holding him like a baby in the water. And that's a picture I had from early in the development, that I thought, you know, I really want Eva to learn Amir to swim. Is something really beautiful about that. And also that she learns him to swim, and then he sort of slips through her hands, you know, that's also symbolic, I think. So, the collaboration with my cinematographer, Avilde Natastad, is the first time I work with her. But we really have had a great collaboration. And we found, like, I had a vision, but when I started working with her, we knew that it was a low budget film. We only had 20 days of shooting, so we knew that we had to find this style that was possible to do, so we could film a lot but also kept the poesy and, you know, so we decided to film handheld, but it's stable handheld. And then I wanted to be close to the characters, so we found this, and she's really good at handheld camera and just the soft movements, so following the characters, and she's so intuitive with her. So she was with me in all the readings with the actors to get to know the psychology on how they're thinking, so that she could understand the psychology of the characters. And I'm not used to that with the cinematographers, but she was so like, I just want to be a fly on the wall. Do you say that?
Yeah.
As much as I can. And then when we were shooting it, you know, we didn't plan all the pictures, so I just really felt that she knew when she was turning the camera there, and just followed her instincts. So, and also the actors could follow their intuitive instincts, and that's really important for me. When I work with actors, that's when you get the real stuff, you know.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Like, she needed to understand the love story or the whole story to get the camera where it should be. Do we have any question from the audience? Anybody want to ask? Okay, I have a last question. So, what's next? What are your both next projects, Nina and Tarek?
You can start.
I can start. Okay. Yeah, I have a drama series that I've been developing for many years, actually. But we had like a downhill in Norwegian drama now, unfortunately. So it's been like, because I did this film, it's been this series that I worked on for a long time. We haven't done anything about it, but I hope it's an 8-episode drama series. It's for youth, about Afghani boy who falls in love with a Norwegian girl, and he's going to be kicked out, so it's relatable.
It's called Youth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Drama series, and they go on a road trip towards from Norway towards Europe, because he's escaping the authorities. So that's one project, and then I have also a more like a personal project, and it's very early in development. That it's about it's a love story, but also about losing the one you love, but continuing and finding, you know, love again. Yeah.
Thank you.
So
thank you. That sounds really good. Tarek?
I don't got any upcoming projects yet.
Well, you just graduated, so
I just
that's
graduated.
Good.
Yeah, I'm thinking of just taking a little vacation, and then I'm gonna look at things.
Cool. So thank you both. It was really good. If you didn't see the film Don't Call Me Mama, just run to the office to buy some tickets and do it, because it's amazing. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you for having us.
And I wish you a lot of luck for the next projects, and really looking forward to see you in Karlovy Vary again, hopefully. So I'm Thea Prokop, I'm the editor-in-chief of Elle magazine. We have Tarek Zayat, one of the lead actors of the movie, and Nina Knag, the screenwriter and also director of the movie. Thank you very much.
Thank you.